Hello.
Hello.
Will you introduce yourself and tell the viewers who you are to me?
I'm Courtney Bridges, Carson Bridges' mother.
Okay, and I'm going to interview you on our family's diversity and history. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
So, will you just tell me about where your family comes from?
Both sides.
Yeah,
Um, Starting how far back?
as far as you want.
Well, as far as I know, my mom's side, they are from Sweden. Traveling from Sweden to Kansas, from Kansas to Brazil, and then back to Kansas to Oklahoma. On that side, and then on my dad's side, from actually, I don't even know. I think from France and Germany to Missouri, and then to Amarillo, Texas.
Okay. And so I know that you used the Helix app
Yeah. Yeah.
to find out some of your ancestry. Will you discuss what you found on there?
Well, I found that there were no surprises. They were all Eastern European, from France, Sweden, Germany, all up in that area. I had some people that we were related to, like Abraham Lincoln, but I'm sure there's a lot of people related to that guy. And who else?
Jesse James.
Jesse James. Who is a woman?
I don't remember.
Margaret Thatcher
Oh, yeah.
or Queen Elizabeth?
Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, that's
Queen Elizabeth, not Margaret Thatcher. Queen Elizabeth, and I believe. Who was the scientist? Also scientist.
Yeah. Thomas
But
Edison.
those just fall in like the linear lines of somebody in our family was related. So that's what I found out. I didn't find out way too much that I didn't already know.
Yeah. Okay, so how many, do you know like the number of generations that have resided in the U.S.?
On my mom's side, starting with my great grandparents were the first people to live in the United States. They were from Sweden. So, and then on my dad's side, I don't know how far back to the 1800s, early 1800s living here. So I'm not more than just two.
Yeah.
Three, yeah.
Okay. There's some questions about adoption, and you're not adopted, but your sister is.
Right.
Could you discuss why your parents picked her? Was there I don't know. Just tell me about why she was picked.
Well, she wasn't picked. It's not like you go to the store and pick out a baby.
I know, but some adoptions are they pick a country and then they get adopted. But your sister was not like that.
Back in the 70s and 60s, they would go to the judge, and the judge would find a family. Mm-hmm. And my dad's best friend was a judge, and they wanted a baby because they didn't have me yet. And that's what happens. So they adopted this baby.
Yeah.
And then they didn't get to pick her. They picked her, but not out of out of a certain country or anything.
Yeah. Do you know anything about her background? Has she ever done anything like that?
No. We don't know anything about her.
Okay.
I don't know anything. I mean, she knows who the mom is, but she doesn't know anything about her background.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to share two patterns with you, and will you tell me if you identify with either of these or how it applies to our family? The first one is assimilation. It's a two-way process, and the majority culture is changed as well as the minority.
Taken?
So there's an assimilation pattern, which is a two-way process. The majority culture is changed and the minority. So have you seen that? I don't know. I guess throughout
has my culture assimilated from Sweden to the United States, the majority?
Have you noticed your mom like any of that. I don't know.
I don't think there's much. I don't know what assimilation would have been. I have no idea. You know how they, since they've been here, since I've known them.
Right.
Um, I don't. With assimilation, they changed their spelling of their name, so that's an assimilation because it was Nielsen, Nielson. Now they changed it when they moved here to Nelson, without the I, so it wouldn't sound so
Swedish.
foreign. Yeah. So.
What about your dad's side? They've been here longer, so.
They were here, yeah, and they've seen two different spellings: CAIN and KANE.
Oh, really?
So, but I don't know. The original book is CAIN, so we kept our original spelling.
Yeah.
But a bunch of different things. So, they've been here for a while, so I don't know how much assimilation they'd have to do.
Right.
That I know about.
And then the other one is acculturation. Acculturation occurs when the minority culture changes, but is still able to retain unique cultural markers of language, food, customs. It's also a two-way process. But is there, I don't know, does your mom or did your grandparents have traditions that they kept here when they moved here that most people didn't do, or did they? The canasta hash?
No, there were a couple little things that they used to do. They used to set out little wooden shoes instead of stockings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like how the Dutch do, or I guess I'm assuming the Swedes do the same thing. Because my mom, they would set out little brown hard wooden shoes to put candy in.
Yeah.
But they really didn't cook a certain way.
Yeah.
That I know of.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandmother made fried chicken, for God's sake. And I'm thinking, no, I don't know of any.
Yeah.
Any cultural. I mean, being Swedish is not too different from being American. So.
Right. That's true. Can you tell me about some of your family traditions growing up, or that you have now? For Christmas, we make canasta hash.
Canasta hash. We used to just open one present on New Year's Eve, but since we split it up between Monda's, family and our family, but if it was up to me, it would still just be one present.
Yeah.
We go to church on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Those are traditions, I guess. I don't know if that's tradition or just religion.
Did you do anything growing up that, your dad brought from his side of the family, or your mom?
We would play funny little games, like hide the thimble. And I don't really know if they really had anything too much from their culture area.
Right.
I don't know.
Nothing that stuck out that wasn't.
No, just Christmas stuff. Reading the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas every night. They used to do that every year. I don't think we really had any.
Your mom gets you the mouse books.
Oh, but that was me though.
Yeah.
That wasn't a cultural thing. That was just me.
No.
Or being a brat. Devin.
Do you know if your mom or your dad had any rites of passage growing up that they had to do?
I can't see my mom so much, but my dad might have.
Yeah.
His family had a little more stricter than my mom's side.
Right.
Of things, but I'm not sure what it would have been.
Do your mom or dad or grandparents have distinguishing behaviors or attitudes that seem different? I don't know. Just explain some behaviors that your grandparents and stuff had.
You mean you think that they passed on to our family?
Sure.
Or
yeah, sure.
I don't know. I wish you would have given me some questions to think about. I'm not good about just answering these. I need time to think.
I know, sorry.
Tell me again. I don't even know what you said.
just explain some like behaviors or values or attitudes your family members have, like your parents or your grandparents, or
I think they all, behavior wise, like kids are important, try to instill, responsibility, one of the number one things. I know that my dad was, instilled with my mom. They instilled it in me. I instilled it in you, responsibility about and taking responsibility for your actions and learning from them. And so that's one that they passed on. I don't know past my parents, It's hard to know what my grandparents passed on. They died when I was like 9. So it's hard to know that anything but them just being fun. Grandparents.
about values.
Yeah, family values, family on both sides, on mine and dad's side. They put them pretty much first. Church was always first. Friends, finances, not so much,
Yeah.
Things went above all that. What else? Food. They like to have big family meals.
That's true.
And music. I guess both of our families enjoy music and dancing too.
That's true.
So they instilled that, probably music a lot more than just dancing. But
Poopa is still in the choir and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna kind of change the topics to more focused on like diversity. So tell me about some of your interactions with people from diverse backgrounds. Did you grow up with people?
People I grew up with that were from diverse backgrounds.
Yeah, were you close to them? Did you have like a lot of friendships that were they mostly Caucasian? Like what? Just tell me about it.
Well, yeah, the area I lived in mostly Caucasian, but I had like, I'd say probably like 60-40. So I didn't, when you're little, you don't know what color anyone is or what background they're from. But I had three or four kids of different color, all of my best friends when I was little. And then my best friend's family adopted, two of my best friend's family adopted kids from Taiwan and Korea. So we were friends with them, and that was kind of cool, learning all their backgrounds, because they came over here when they were about 7 and spoke not a lick of English, so we got to learn from them. But there wasn't a lot of diversity. There was when I went to middle school. It was a 50-50 diverse school, and then high school not so much, but probably like 40-60. So
yeah, and your parents, like, did you see them interacting with people of different color? Like, I know Papa's one of his best friends was Lucius, who's African American.
Yeah, they did. And my mom was always up at our school, and I mean, we didn't see really color. We didn't talk in color. We talked about friendship, and if you like him, you like him.
Yeah.
And we did like to try different cultural things, foods, dress, music, anything that was different we like to try. And I don't know.
You weren't taught to be racist. You didn't see that.
No, gosh, no. Yeah. No. I mean, no. My mom welcomed everybody in our house. We invite people over for dinner, spend the night, Yeah. No, I was taught that my mom said you were never allowed to hate anybody. You can dislike someone as much as you want, but hate is not allowed in the house.
Right.
So, no hate from me.
Yeah. So, what is your level of comfort or discomfort with persons of different race or ethnic backgrounds?
I'm perfectly comfortable about anyone.
Well, you married a Mexican, so.
Right, married a Mexican. I mean, I didn't know. Who knows? I mean, if we get along, we get along. Yeah. If we don't, we don't. But it still doesn't make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that are white that I don't like.
Yeah.
So it's just their attitudes and beliefs and kindness. I mean, if you're kind, I'm gonna like you.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if you're not kind, it's not a big deal. I mean, sometimes you're just in a bad mood. So, I'm not uncomfortable at all unless unless they make me feel uncomfortable, like on purpose. You know, I'm sure there are some of those times, but I've never been in that position
Right.
before. So,
Do you think there's any conflicts with like any of our family regarding race or ethnicity? Like anybody racist?
no, I don't think so at all.
I don't think so either.
I think we've all been raised to love one another, and it's pretty easy. You know, it's harder to hate than it is to love someone.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. What about gender roles in our family? I know your dad kind of treated your mom like she was supposed to be.
Oh, you mean like how that's yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it was growing up. You know
Yeah.
and I mean things. That's like thing that drive me crazy because the men, you know, would work and the women would cook and clean,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why weddings are the way they are.
Yeah.
Yet now women work too,
Yeah.
just as hard as the men in their jobs, and we're still the women's parents are still having to pay for all the wedding.
Yeah.
Let's change that from this video. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
It should not. I don't know why. Because are you going to stay home
No.
and cook the bacon and
Okay.
do the laundry,
No.
cook house? No,
Um,
cook the house. So yeah, that's different. I mean, that's definitely different. That's something I grew up watching, and I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
But my mom also didn't have a job. You know, she took care of the kids and stuff, and
Right.
I don't mind doing that. I don't mind working the home if I don't have a job,
Right.
because that would be my job, because it's a full-time job. But I don't
Yeah.
want to have a job, 2 jobs
Right.
or 4 jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay. Last question. Oh, I have 2 more questions. So, did you notice any other influences of other cultures on our family, or
what do you mean?
like I don't know? I don't know. I can't think of any for our family, but I don't know if you could. Like, I guess maybe like with dad's side
Yeah,
being Hispanic,
just a little bit.
those could have influenced, like his Hispanic culture could have influenced our family.
It could have if he was more.
Hispanic.
Well, if he knew
His
a lot of
ways.
his culture.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, he just doesn't. I think if his dad was still around, it probably would have more.
Right.
You know, we probably would have experienced more and learned more.
Yeah.
But like, we learned some from Kim when she was married to Rudy, and
Yeah.
so I think we've got a lot of different backgrounds. You know, just because you look white doesn't mean you are.
Yeah.
You know, there's a whole bunch of different backgrounds with our family. You know,
Yeah.
coming from different places. So
That's true. Okay, last one. When you were like looking up the Helix stuff or whatever, finding information about your family, even before you did the Helix, do you have any obstacles like collecting that material of our family history, or how was that process? Like, did you ever? I remember when we were little, like we didn't know that much about our background, your family's background.
well, I did. I just didn't. I didn't.
So
have
you've
it
just
on
had
me.
that book forever, or your family? Is
The
that-
Kane side.
yeah,
Well, it's been around since 1988.
the book. The
I
book.
didn't know about it. Yeah,
Oh.
I didn't know about it because they gave it to, I forget who, my dad maybe, and
Who gave
we
it
didn't
to your
even know
dad?
it. One of the Kane people that study. Sorry. Hey. Sorry. Dog's frustrated. Here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Say again. Sorry.
Never mind. You didn't have trouble with it because you've had the book. So
I've had the book, and then my grandmother's side, there was a book written because he was that apostle on the Amazon, and they did this whole bunch of background studies on my great grandfather.
okay.
So we have a whole big thing on them too.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.